In today's video, let's learn few of the multiple choice question on the topic neonatal seizure. So first question is neonatal conversion can be caused by maternal hyperparathyroidism, subdural hematoma, birth asphyxia, hyponatremia or all of the above. To know the answer to this question, we should know the causes of neonatal conversions. So etiology of neonatal seizures, the mnemonic to remember is 3H and 3M. For 3H, first is hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy, second is hemorrhage, either it is subdural hematoma, intraventricular hemorrhage or intracranial hemorrhage of any type can give rise to neonatal seizure. Third H stands for metabolic abnormalities. So important to remember is hypoglycemia, hypocalcemia, hypomagnesemia, hyponatremia as well as hypernatremia. Whereas 3M, first M stands for meningitis, second M stands for malformation and third M stands for maternal drug withdrawal. Now back to our question. In our question, B, C and D are the causes of neonatal conversion, but what about maternal hyperparathyroidism? So maternal hyperparathyroidism will give rise to maternal hypercalcemia, which will further give rise to fetal hypercalcemia, which will cause suppression of parathyroid glands in fetus. But after birth, the maternal supply is cut and the baby will suffer a severe hypocalcemia. So, maternal hyperparathyroidism is also cause of neonatal hypocalcemia. So here, correct answer to this question is all of the above. Next question is a 16 hours old baby born to diabetic mother develops seizures at 16 hours of life. Glucose shows normoglycemia. What is the next step in management? Options are phenobarbital, pyridoxine, calcium gluconate or IV antibiotic. To understand the answer, we should know the management protocol of neonatal seizures. So whenever any baby is having a seizures, first step is to stabilize the baby with the help of temperature stabilization, airway breathing and circulation. Next step is to do RBS, and if the RBS is less than 45 mg per deciliter, then this baby will require correction of hypoglycemia in the form of 2 ml per kilogram bolus of dextrose followed by glucose drip at the rate of 4 to 8 mg per kg per minute. If the RBS is normal, then the second step in the management is to collect the blood for the calcium measurement and to administer calcium gluconate 10% 2 ml per kilogram 1:1 dilution with dextrose under cardiac monitoring or ECG monitoring. After giving calcium also, there is continuous seizure. Then the third step is to administer phenobarbital. The loading dose is 20 mg per kilogram. This is also has to be given in infusion with the dilution. If after giving 20 mg loading of phenobarbital, if conversion is still happening, then 4 times up to 40 mg per kilogram. And once the 20 mg per kilogram loading is given, the maintenance should be given 5 mg per kilogram 12 hourly. If even after reaching 40 mg of phenobarbital, if there is still a seizure, it means it is time to give the phenytoin or fosphenytoin. This also could be given up 40. Once the child is loaded with phenytoin, the phenytoin has to be given in maintenance. Phenytoin has to be given in dilution and in infusion under monitoring because this can cause a shock in newborn. Even after giving a phenytoin, there is still seizure in newborn. Then the third AED in the line is lorazepam, that is 0.05 to 0.1 mg per kilogram. After lorazepam, midazolam can be given. If the seizure is still continue, 0.05 mg per kilogram. And after giving midazolam also in a state dose, if there is still conversion, there are 3 drugs in line which could be given. Midazolam infusion at the rate of 1 to 18 microgram per kg per minute, or lorazepam 0.05 to 0.1 milligram 3 to 12 hourly on each appearance of each seizure, or else levacetiram can be given 40 to 60 milligram loading and 40 milligram per kilogram in 2 divided doses. Even after using all these measures, newborn continue to have a seizure, it means we are labeling as refractory seizure. So back to our question. Here the first step of the management, glucose was showing a normoglycemia. So second step after checking the RBS is giving a calcium gluconate. So correct answer to this question is option C, IV calcium gluconate. Next question is, which of the following vitamin deficiency is responsible for neonatal seizure? Options are vitamin C, thiamine, pyridoxine or cobalamin. To know the answer to this question, let's go back to management protocol for neonatal seizures. Firstly, we discussed that once after starting a midazolam drip or giving lorazepam or a levacetam, still newborn is having seizure, it means we have reached to the stage of refractory seizure. And here comes the role of pyridoxine. Pyridoxine seizure, there is no vitamin B6, which act as coenzyme to glutamate decarboxylase, which helps the conversion of glutamate, which is excitatory neurotransmitter, to GABA, which is inhibitory. So in absence of vitamin B6, there is relatively reduced inhibitory neurotransmitter and there is increase in the excitatory neurotransmitter, which cause newborn to throw seizures. So correct answer to this question is option C, pyridoxine. A 2 days old neonate in the NICU develops seizure. Which of the following is the best investigation of choice for the child? Transcranial USG, skull X-ray, CT scan or MRI. If you compare all these three, skull X-ray is not going to give us much information. CT scan and MRI, both of them will require transfer of newborn to the radiology department. While considering a transcranial USG, it is preferred imaging technique for neonatal seizure in the NICU because it can be performed at bedside, which is especially important for unstable newborns. It is a non-invasive procedure that can help identify brain damage and blood flow issue, and it can also be used for follow-up examinations. So correct answer to this question is option A, transcranial USG. Next question is the type of neonatal seizure with worst prognosis. Options are clonic, tonic, myoclonic or subtle. So, myoclonic seizures have worst prognosis. How we can remember? M, if you reverse it, it will look like W, so worst. Myoclonic seizures are often a part of early myoclonic encephalopathic syndrome, and myoclonic seizures in baby can also indicate severe brain injury. Worst prognosis in terms of neurodevelopmental outcome and recurrence of seizures. These are few pointers which has to be remembered in reference to prognostic factors for neonatal seizures. Focal clonic seizures are invariably benign. Among underlying causes, hypocalcemia and primary subarachnoid hemorrhage have the best prognosis, while cerebral dysgenesis has the worst. Interictal burst suppression patterns and isoelectric EEG patterns indicate poor neurological outcome. So correct answer to this question is myoclonic seizure. So that's all about today's lecture. I hope you all understood and learned well. Let me know what other topics you would like to learn from me. If you like the video, please share, give like and subscribe to the channel.